Welcome to Round Glass. I'm Vishvapani Blomfield, and thank you so much for joining me for this special session marking the new year. So happy new year to you. There are lots of things that we go through individually in our lives, but there are some things that everyone shares. We're all going through the new year. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your experiences, your reflections looking back, and your hopes and aspirations looking forward. Please share those in the chat, and just making this more of a common experience, a common rite of passage. And some people have already made some suggestions about what this means for them. It's a time to review your life. Yeah, a time to forgive and forget, time to look ahead, and also something that we share with family and friends, and a celebration. Yes, that's very important though, doesn't it? It's just a celebration. It doesn't need any more justification than that. Personally, over the last 10 years or so, I've gone on retreat over New Year. And in a way, that's just time apart from everything that's going on. Certainly not drinking lots of alcohol and singing Auld Lang Syne, although I wouldn't mind singing Auld Lang Syne on a retreat. The new year at this retreat centre called Vadraloka in North Wales, we mark because it's something that we're all experiencing. And we do two things. First of all, there's a fire or a kind of a cauldron. And we take to that cauldron, that fire, anything that we've written on a piece of paper that says something we want to leave behind. So you can call that a confession. It's not the kind of confession which is about feeling terribly guilty. It's about letting it go. Burning it up in the flames, but let it go. And it's quite liberating to do that. I mean, of course, it doesn't mean they'll never come back, but that's the intention. And we do this while we chant a particular mantra, which is very powerful. And then the other thing is resolutions. And you need to be quite careful, I think, about your resolutions. Not to make them like, I'm going to be wonderful and perfect and full of compassion, things that you can actually do. But nonetheless, again, it's very powerful. It really reinforces an intention. And we do this at a time of transition because I am turning from 2021 to 2022, and so is everyone else. So it's a shared transition. The whole world is turning in the same way. So we're going to do a meditation that captures some of those elements. So the flame is going to be internal, not just outside, although you could do a literal confession, just as I described it. So let us establish a posture, something that will be comfortable, something that will feel good for the next 15 minutes or so, and we'll do that in a way that's stable and upright, but also grounded and solid. Okay, get that posture. And we turn inwards. It's a natural transition at this point in the year to turn inwards. It goes with winter, with the shortness of the days, with the dying of the year, to go deep, to burrow, to hibernate, to retreat to the cave of our inner world. Perhaps we do that with family through the holiday period, and in meditation we do that individually. And what's here, what's present as I turn towards my experience in this moment, this body, feeling the body, this breath moving in the body, breathing, settling, just noticing the breath. In meditation, the breath is our friend. The breath is what helps us to settle. Some people, the breath is problematic, and so just use the body in some other way, maybe the movement of the body with the inhalation and exhalation. And the year's ending is an opportunity to stop, to pause, and to truly pause, we need space. We need to give ourselves space. Space to rest, space to breathe, space to reflect, space to get perspective. And the whirl of thoughts, the whirl of worry and stress and all of those things is what we need to step away from in order to step into this special space. The new year is a global celebration. The whole world, at least everyone who follows a Western calendar, steps into the same space, marks the same transition. A pause, a lacuna, a threshold, a liminal moment. A space. Slowing down by bringing our attention into the body, letting the breath flow. Into the cave of our inner world. In that cave, in that dark space, we light a fire. It's the flame of transmutation. Seeing that flame, a light within our hearts. Watching the flame, flickering, leaping, smouldering, with all the colours that a flame has, reds and yellows and blues. Licking and fluttering. And what do we bring to this flame? This fire. Let us bring anything we want to leave behind, to let go of, to confess, to renounce. We are imperfect. So we have regrets. And that's okay. We even have faults. And that's okay as well. Of course we do. Things we've done, things we've said, things we've thought. Or felt. Just for now, letting them come one by one, like ghosts, into our mind, and casting them into the flames, the transmuting fire, watching them catch and burn up and be released. A stream of things, or maybe something very particular. Casting it into the flames, watching it burn, watching it crumble, letting it go. And now, just dwelling for a moment, free from those thoughts, let them go. In some Buddhist ceremonies, we chant a long mantra to articulate that. And it ends up with a great declaration of release goes Ah Hung Pat. To let it go. New year is an end and a beginning. Turning from the old year towards the new year. What do we resolve, intend? What do we want to bring into our lives in this new year? What do we want to bring into the world? Your aspirations might be very big, so honor them. And they might be very small, very particular. Honor that as well. So let these resolutions come to our mind. Doing this practice, we don't have to formulate them, but we might write them down afterwards. Just let them come to mind in whatever form, clear or unclear, formulated or as a feeling. And we're going to dedicate or offer these resolutions to something that we hold precious, that represents our highest values and ideals. It might be the Buddha, but it could be any figure or any form that speaks to you. Whatever it is. Maybe a figure appears, or maybe it's a sense. And let us take these resolutions and offer them to the embodiment of our ideals, one at a time, placing these resolutions in whatever form they take before this figure or form, dedicating ourselves, dedicating our resolutions. Perhaps as we do so, we light another flame, or we light candle after candle, one for each resolution, until this figure, this form, is surrounded by light. Just pausing, absorbing. Now I'm going to offer a little chant from the Buddhist tradition, which simply means, may all beings be happy. It's in the Pali language. Sabbe sata sukhi hontu. 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 Breathing, settling. And just taking a moment as we absorb what we've done, this reflection on the new year, the year that's gone by, the year that is just starting, and the wish expressed in the chant that in this year we are well and happy, that everyone is well and happy. And starting to make a transition in small ways, in the usual ways we do at the end of a meditation, just so that we move gradually from this inner world, this inner sense, to an outer world, an outer sense, an outer focus, and activating the body, maybe rolling the shoulders and opening your eyes when you are ready. Okay, so that was a little ritual, and it shows that a meditation can be a ritual. In a ritual, what happens is we create a space. We say, this is a special space. And what happens within that space has a special significance. So ritual involves all sorts of forms, usually, and those forms are about creating the space. We can do that in a meditation by having a sense of creating an inner space through some kind of reflection, some kind of visualization perhaps. And within that space, something special can happen. Something sacred can happen. It's a ritual. And we used confessions and resolutions. So with the confessions, it's quite important that we don't get caught up in feeling guilty about them. Guilt is quite a complicated emotion. It's, I've done something wrong, it's bad, and therefore there's another bit, I'm a bad person as a result. That, generally speaking, isn't very helpful. Psychologically, isn't actually very helpful in moving on. So we recognize what we've done. It may be it's something very small, like I need to stop snacking, or it might be that you've done something you feel really ashamed of. Well, if so, that's a very positive thing. Recognizing that is a very positive thing. We recognize it, we mark it, we ritualize that, and then we can move on. We have the intention to move on. So you might want to write down what came to your mind in that practice and actually enact it as a ritual. Burn those things for yourself. Similarly, with the resolution, it can be, I want to save all sentient beings. It can be something as big as that. But it can also be something like, well, I want to stop snacking. You know, it's something really small. And the important thing is that we find some way of expressing our natural good intentions, our natural desire, our wish to be the best person we can be, while still being ourselves. So don't get lost in a fantasy that you've already done it because you've made that resolution. It's an intention. An intention we may never fulfill completely, but that's life, you know. And how we find that deeper intention, how we stay in touch with that, I would say is that that's practice. That's what practice is about. That's what we're doing all of the time in meditation. What's deepest and truest and strongest and most valuable in myself? How can I stay in touch with that without kidding myself that I'm someone other than who I actually am? How can it be authentic and grounded and real and meaningful and so on? So to finish, at the end of many Buddhist rituals, including a meditation, even a simple period of meditation, we often recite what we call a transference of merits, or transference of merits and self-surrender. And often these are taken from a particular teacher called Shantideva, who lived in, I think, the 7th century, so a long time ago. And his words are about dedicating our actions not for our own benefit, because that then becomes selfish and becomes enclosed again, but to all sentient beings, to all beings, in the spirit of that chant, Sabbe Sata Sukhi Hontu. It goes like this. May the merit gained in my acting thus go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings. My personality throughout my existences, my possessions, and my merit in all three ways, I give up without regard to myself for the benefit of all beings. Just as the earth and other elements are serviceable in many ways to the infinite number of beings inhabiting limitless space, so may I become that which maintains all beings, situated throughout space, so long as all have not attained to peace. Thank you for sharing this time. Please continue to explore your meditation practice with us. Check out our daily live meditations at round.glass or on our app. Have a great day and have a wonderful new year.